Hey everyone, it's Tyler from MultiMonster Deals, and I'm here with Noah Beygelman, who just got top 8 at the YCS in Fort Worth with what deck?
True Draco Sky Striker.
All right, do you want to talk about it, or do you just want to get into the profile?
We can just get into it. I'll kind of talk as I show the cards. Yeah. So starting off, we have one blue boy. So I play just the engine of the one blue boy, 2 secrets, and a knowledge. Basically, it provides more draw power. It's a +1 without having to use something like Desires, which could let you lose resources you need for the grind game. Because this deck really wants to play for a long time, it can basically grind with any deck forever. So yeah, the one blue boy gets you out of the early game by putting 2 spells in grave too, so it's really nice. And then for more monsters, I played 2 copies of Ray. So I only played 2 copies of Ray because you primarily access her from the deck by using Area 0 to target a True Draco spell. You reveal, add a striker card, and then the spell in graveyard targets your Area 0 and destroys it, which lets you special summon Ray from the deck. So you don't really have to dedicate your normal summon to her, and seeing too many contributes to brick hands. So yeah, just 2 of her. And then I played, for the Draco monster lineup, 2 Ignises and 1 Dynamite. So prior to this event, I was playing 3 copies of Ignis, but I decided to cut one for a 2nd copy of Shark Cannon. And that was a really, really good decision. There was a lot of people playing Orcust. I played against like 6 Orcust throughout the whole event, so having the 2nd Shark Cannon is really key. And you usually only use the Dracos going 2nd to break boards, or on your opponent's turn is using the traps as interruptions, basically. So yeah, that's it for the monsters. The relevant monsters, that is. Then there's 3 more Nibirs. So basically, this is the only hand trap I play. Don't even play impermanence in the main or anything like that. So if I was going to draw any hand trap, I wanted it to be the one that was the most impactful. And this is good against basically every single deck except for the Lunalight Orcust deck if they go for Azathoth. But just the fact that it had such wide coverage against everything else, and this deck's already really favored against backer decks like Subterror and Sky Striker, that I could afford to have a dead card basically. So these are the 9 monsters in the main deck. And then lots of spells, 3 Engage, 3 Widow. This is really cool because like you can take their monster on their turn and then tribute over it for a Draco, so it's kind of like Stormforth in that regard. And then 3 Area 0s because, like I said before, with the combo where you target your Draco spell, you really want to open that as consistently as possible, because I find one of the problems with pure Sky Striker is that they brick too often, just not opening access to Ray. So this deck, between the Spellbook engine and playing 3 copies of Area 0 and the Draco cards letting you draw more cards, you see Ray more often. So yeah, that's the reasoning behind the 3. And you always want to have 1 exist in your deck for set rotation to be live, because that card's crazy. And then I played 2 Shark Cannons. Like I said, I put in the 2nd one and took out an Ignis. Then I play 1 copy of Multi-Roll and 1 Hornetrons. That's it for the Striker cards. I don't play any of like the removal ones, because the True Draco spells and traps basically take care of the roll removal, and they're just bricks in your hand going first. I also don't play Hercules base because that card's also a brick, and in games where you would need Hercules base, you can win with the Draco cards grinding out the game. So you either just win quickly, or you weren't meant to win that game at all. So that's it for Striker cards. Now Draco spells 2. I'll stack these up. 2 Disciples, 3 Heritage, 3 of this one because this is the one you want to see in your opening hand, because it's much easier to resolve it to draw at least 1 card. And you want 2 Disciples, so that way you can essentially never lose if you don't like ruin the Disciples loop. You have to maintain your resources and always put 1 Disciples back with the other one, and you can just grind forever. So yeah, these 5 spells, really, really good. And then 3 Diagrams, best card. You can chain your Sky Striker Quick Plays to this for like a free +1. It's pretty cool. And then the 3 1-up spells is Upstart, Set Rotation, and Terraforming. Seeing any of these puts you really far ahead, puts free spells in grave for Engage. And then Set Rotation in particular is really good because you can set a diagram on your side, set an Area 0 on their side, and then use the diagram, destroy a Draco spell, search like a Heritage or something to draw a card, and then at resolution, the Draco spell in grave will pop the Area 0 on their side of the field, and then you special Ray. So yeah, if this card was at 3, this deck would just be even more insane, but still, you know, you see it sometimes. It's kind of nice. And then, like I was mentioning earlier, the Spellbook engine. So I played 2 of this one because this is the one you primarily want to open. You want a Secrets for the Blue Boy, and then Blue Boy get Knowledge. That way you put 2 spells in grave, and you still put 1 spell in grave even if they Veiler or Impermanence the Blue Boy. And then the cool thing about Knowledge is that it's basically never dead because of a card I play in the extra deck, which we'll get to later. But yeah, and then if you brick on 2 secrets, you can send it with Area 0 or pop it with Diagram. It's not really a big deal. You just really want to see it in your opening hand. That's it for spells, and then 4 trap cards. This card's actually bad in this deck because it conflicts with Ray. If you like use its effect on field to special back from grave, you can't special for the rest of the turn. So if they pop your Link Monster, you lose kind of the inevitability of having a Ray come back. But it's just there's another name for when you're trying to break a board. This card's really, really good. You can use it in tandem with the Draco spell cards to have like MSTs on their turn. Like popping their multi-roll by going Apocalypse, target Heritage to half, if Heritage pop multi-roll on their turn. So that's just another layer of interaction that like a pure Striker deck would have to hope to draw the Cosmic or some other card out. So 40 cards main deck with Upstart, so basically 39. And then extra deck for the pretty Striker links. I play Kagari, 2 Kainas, 2 Hayates, and 3 of this. So you only need 2 in this deck because you use the Draco cards to kind of clear the way and pop the backrest that this resolves. So you never like have to waste the first one. And then I would play 1 Kaina moving forward and play a second Hida instead. It came up way more often than the second Kaina would. And then 3 Shizuku so you can grind and make all their guys really small in the late game. As this deck actually has late game. And then this is the card I was talking about in the extra deck. It's a Claren Rushka. So it's a spellcaster type monster. So it works with your knowledge. And it can be made out of any normal summoned or set monster. So you essentially bait their negates with your Draco card, attack, and then in main phase 2, you turn your Draco card into Claren Rushka, which means you're now able to activate all your Striker cards and draw more off Heritage. So yeah, this card's really important. You really can't play the deck without it, honestly. And then some utility link 2s, Barricade, Board Blocker, Hida, and Phoenix. Phoenix is largely irrelevant, it's just a fire, so you can go into Hida if you need to. And its effect comes up more than any other Link 2 that I found would come up. So yeah, not too much to say about that. Hit is amazing. It's really good going second to force negates, because if it gets destroyed, you can search Ignis. And if it doesn't get destroyed, you're climbing into a bigger Link monster like a Bomber, a Ningirsu, a Boral Sword, and probably OTKing them. And then Barricade War Blocker. I only use this effect once all tournament, but I still think you should play it as a Link 2 that points down that's generic. And in the grind game, adding back multi-roll or Diagram seems really good. Then for the last big boy Link monsters are Ningirsu, Bomber, and Boral Sword. So Ningirsu is particularly insane in the True Draco version because you can send your True Draco spells and traps and send one of their cards. Then the spell or trap will trigger Engrave to destroy another one of their cards. So you get to like 2-for-1 them in a deck based on card advantage. That's obviously really good. Bomber, so you can upgrade your Ningirsu and have basically Regekis on their turn. And then Boral Sword plus a Draco is how you usually OTK them. So that's it for the Draco monster, or the extra deck. Now for the side deck, I decided like infinite hand traps because I was really scared of the Lunalight Orcus deck, which is what I ended up losing to in top 8, unfortunately. So yeah, all these 9 were just cards that I thought were the most effective, particularly no material. If you know material, then Nyarla, which most people were still doing post-side. I don't know if that's correct or not, but whenever I drew this card, I basically won. Just, it's like D-barrier from the hand. And then these ones were much less effective. That's why there's only 2 of them, but I wanted more diversity for the different kind of rogue decks you play at a YCS over a lot of rounds. I put this in against Striker, and I played ABC and Smith, I decided this in. But other than that, I don't think I used this card all tournament, and even when I put these in, I didn't draw them. You don't really use your side deck that often in this deck. You kind of have engine outs to basically every regular board. And then the side cards I do use often are GD Grounds. This card is absolutely insane. I feel like every person who plays any sort of control deck should side this card going first, because it plays around Twin Twister, Cosmic Cyclone, Pankratops, all like the back row removal cards, evenly matched. It provides you something that lingers for the whole turn. They can't remove it, and if you just skip their turn, you just, go off next turn. Usually I flip this card when they've committed like 1 or 2 monsters to the board. That way I have things to Widow Anchor so I can OTK them next turn. Yeah, really, really good. And then 3 cards for control matchups when I would want to take out the main deck Nibiru's, but I wasn't sure if I was going to go first or go second, or if GD Grounds would be effective or not. So I would just put in 2 shared rides and 1 Eagle Booster. Yeah, usually against Sky Striker. Only put against 1 Sky Striker, but yeah, so these cards didn't really come up. Eagle Booster is also really good to make sure your Hayate or Kaina resolves if you're getting close to time, or your Kagari against Pure Striker. So that's the deck.
All right, any changes you want to make? Shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, there's really no changes. You kind of have to play a lot of hand traps to combat the Lunalite deck. So maybe when the ban list comes out, there'll be some changes. But shout outs to my boy. I don't know if you want to pan, see Tam, Ace, Richard, and Chase, guys I came here with. Really supportive. They made my deck pretty with all the ultis and stuff. Shout outs to Shogun's Dojo. Shout out to you, Tyler, and shout out to Team Jobber, of course, for the nice mat sponsorship.
All right, well,
that's it.
Congratulations.
Thanks.